We had a fantastic time. I know we I think we formed some really close relationships, but I'd love to, for the respect of the people that were not able to attend the event, to really what were the takeaways? What was like actionable that we can share with the people that were not able to attend, that so that maybe they can have some takeaways. And guys, this time we had I think we had a really good film crew. So we're going to be releasing the recordings at some point. We got a little bit of work. We got some processing to do. But we'll be getting those out to you guys. But
Patrick, you mind if I start? Just because I can't be on this whole call. I have an appointment I'm headed to right now, but I wanted to jump on quick.
Yeah, are you on your way? Are you driving back down to Florida now?
Yeah, I figure it can't be with you guys too.
You cutting in and out, man.
It was so funny because I'm like, you're in the car. I love when you're on these meetings, and then here I am in the car. So
yes.
I don't know if she's on here or not.
She's not on here yet.
But either way, so
go ahead, Gary.
I'm going to keep my eyes on the road as much as I can, but so many nuggets. I mean, like I put in my Facebook post, I mean, I could talk about things that I learned, all the coaches or the speakers, obviously all very successful in their, realm of business. For me, and I'm still processing, I can't wait to watch the replay, the documents and my notes, just to fully process it. But, Chris Evans, man, he hit me so hard with his speech, because I think my whole career, I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years, and I never realized the difference in identity between, I'm Gary, this is me, and this is my business. I've always been two of one, and I always bore the stress of it. I always, didn't realize the importance of, taking care of myself, like mentally. And I just feel like that was unbelievable. I've never been to an event where, somebody spoke that way, and it was extremely impactful for me. So, I keep thinking about it more and more, and just even the last couple of days of being home, I'm already feeling like just like a whole new vibe about business and work. And then the other thing was, Patrick, you killed me with that, your arch rival with your wife, because I mean, we all work extremely hard, and sometimes you just don't have it in the tank, and you have to, that whole mind thing. And I'm like, yeah, I need to do that, because, my personal life and my lady is important to me, and, she deserves that extra energy. So I created a Glenn, and Glenn has made his bed 2 days in a row, and I've done the dishes, and the house is clean, and I'm going to keep it up, man. Like I even worked out with her this morning, goes back to taking care of myself at 5:45. So, I mean, obviously going to these events, you learn a lot about scaling your business and building relationships. But for me, like, I just truly, after 20 years of wearing stress, of trying to get to the next level, and not feeling like I'm enough or I'm doing enough, that was just huge. And I'm not going to take up your whole bit here, but hopefully that,
yeah,
that came across the way that it feels.
Yeah, I think it did, Gary. You cut out a little bit here and there. You cut out a little bit here and there, but I think we got most of the gist. I'll tell you though, for me, Chris Evans, I learned from all the speakers. I know that, hey, I'm the one that organized this event, but like, there's no way that you're going to have like an hour conversation with people running like multiple 8-figure businesses about life, where there's not going to be some big takeaways. And to see someone as successful as Chris Evans, and to share what he shared about why are we doing what we're doing? Is it for a need to provide to our families, or is it because of like some, kind of like insecurity where we're not enough? That really hit a spot for me and made me like question, like, why am I doing what I'm doing? So that was great to see how much peace he had. You just kind of like feel it in his vibe where he's just like, he's like walked up there like a little monk, and he was just like, yes, I run multiple 8-figure businesses. And, I spend a lot of time with my family, and I mean, he just seems so at ease and peaceful. And if you can hit those numbers that he's hit and had the success that he's had and do it in that way, I think that's why we all start businesses. So just a fantastic example. I feel so grateful the speakers that we were able to put together. This is only our second event, and it's kind of crazy to see the caliber of speakers that are coming in there and sharing their stuff. Multiple people with 8-figure exits and sharing their stories, or running multiple 8-figure businesses simultaneously. Lots of 7-figure businesses. But the people, with that being said, that it seems like that's not what mattered to them. What mattered to them is they wanted to like be around our community, and just they had so much humility, and they're impact focused. So I think it was really something special, and it was really, Chris Evans really set the tone, I think, for the whole event, where, hey, this was so much more than just like talking about SEO or agency strategies, tactics. It was really about building a community and trying to like push each other up. And I thought Chris was fantastic. So thank you for sharing that, Gary. And there's some vulnerability in that about us trying to be better for our partners, right? And what are the mental hacks that we need to
100%.
put in place? Yeah. So thank you for being vulnerable with us, Gary. And you've done a good job.
100%.
Yeah. Awesome. All right.
All right. Well, I can't wait to hear other people's takeaways. I'm going to mute myself here.
Awesome. I think it's going to be a full call. Let's keep moving though. Who else? Guys coming back from this event, I'd love to hear. So again, I know we've had a lot of people jump on in the last few minutes. It's great to celebrate this event and what it meant to us, but I'd love to. What are some things as a part of your, when you guys come on as a part of it? Let's share something actionable. If we learn something actionable that the people that weren't able to enjoy the event can take away and maybe put into practice and help themselves level up in their personal life or in their business. Mr. Spencer Lund, what do you got, brother man?
What's up, you guys? Sorry, I jumped on a little bit late, so I don't have the piece of actionable, but my takeaway is, Patrick, truly an amazing event. I congratulate you. I mean, I know you guys aren't experts at doing this, but man, it's like the best Christmas that you've ever had. And then as a parent, you're like, how the heck are we going to level up next year? Or the next event, I guess I should say. So I was sitting out in the hot tub and with Chris Evans, and we kind of calculated approximately about how much revenue was on stage over the weekend, and it was somewhere about 150 million. That's impressive. All day long, I want to be the poorest guy and the dumbest guy in the room, and I felt like that was the case over the course of the weekend. So I congratulate you, Patrick. I know you're always consistently swinging for the fences. And I know that, sometimes it causes some issues with some of the speakers that are like, hey, man, why are you not like inviting me back to speak again? And if you guys notice, a lot of times within these SEO masterminds or these SEO conferences, it's kind of the same people that are consistently speaking on stages. And the bad thing about that is how much can you repackage kind of the same thing that you do? And a lot of times what I feel is a lot of these guys are like one-trick ponies. And Patrick, on the other hand, is always consistently trying to bring like higher level guys that are more business focused. And that's truly what he did. Like it wasn't just the, hey, let's run some CTR, or hey, this is how we do this manipulation of this, or no, these are dudes that are doing some serious numbers. And I think it's great for us to be surrounded by those type of individuals, because it makes us really think of how small-minded we're thinking. So congratulations to you, Patrick, and an amazing event.
Yeah. Thank you, Spencer. Appreciate it. I've been at those events where it's like more tactical, and I think that's great. There's always a place for tactics. I think what's more important, like what are the tactics used for? The tactics are used to try to help us provide a better result for our clients. So once we have a better result for our clients, then hey, we can maybe have less churn. We can grow our business faster. We can have a bigger impact for our clients. And then maybe we can get our operations dialed in. And then at that point, we can have like a better life, right? I think that's what it's at in the end. So, you know what, I think that there is this place for tactics, but starting with the people that are kind of like more towards the end of that, where they've created like personal freedom. So, the tagline I'm kind of kicking around for Rank Masters is personal freedom through agency mastery. So a lot of you guys have seen, we're kind of moving away from just like strict rank and rent. But really what I want to bring in people that are living, that are not only talking the talk, that are walking the walk, that have blazed the pathway and have found a way to have the personal freedom. And it can be harder to find these people. And I agree. I was sitting back, I was kind of talking to Jeff. I'm like, what are we going to do next time? Now, how are we going to beat this? I kind of feel like this event is like when you go out at night and you take a picture of the stars and then you look at it on your phone and it's like that's not what it was. Right. And I think that when we go and we have a conversation like this on Zoom, like we can talk about it, but unless you were there and you felt what the people felt there, it's going to be impossible for us to kind of express it. I felt like it was really something special to see. I mean, there's a lot of emotions. I think there was 5 or 6 people that were brought to tears by the impact that they felt. And that was not something I was counting on. And I was like talking to Jeff and the people on my team, like what caused this extreme connection that people felt? Like what was that? Like, it was what we on some level had hoped for, but you can't count on it. And then to just like sit back and see it in action, I was like, holy cow, man, this is phenomenal. So I don't know what we're going to do next Christmas. I know what we had to do is we started planning already. I'm like, man, like we've got to start planning. So we're already looking at the weekends. I've already got a list of like 18 potential speakers that, and we're going to keep building this list. And then we're going to really try to recruit these people into the next event so that we can, at the very least, maintain this level that we experienced this last time. Already talking to the same guy about venues. So we're excited. We're excited for the next event. Alec Newmeyer, adult tiers is a key metric for Mastermind success. I concur. I don't know if we can have like a tiers per minute KPI or something in there, maybe. But yeah, thank you for sharing that, Spencer. I 100% agree. And what you said is exactly what we're trying to pull out there. So Mr. Mike Anderson, what's up, my man?
Good afternoon.
Yes. Good to see
One
you.
thing you preached to me down there was to get out of my comfort zone and get out of my shell. And I'm doing that right this minute. This is the first time I've ever talked on the Zoom call. So congrats to me.
Heck yeah, man. That's personal growth for sure.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing the takeaway that I took down there was, I've already niched down and now I need to start building out my brand as far as getting, testimonials, case studies, review. So that's the process I'm heading toward now, is to build my brand so I can be the expert in that field and hopefully help some people out, getting more clients.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the trainings that I'm going to prioritize in the Rank Masters group is really a brand package. Like, what are those steps? What does that look like for the people that are actually in Rank Masters? I made the decision last week. We are going to build out like a really high performing high converting, beautiful website that you can use as your niche marketing website, right? So if you're in concrete, then hey, you can change everything to be concrete, but we're going to give you the layout of what we think exactly, and you just have to plug in the missing pieces. Like, hey, the testimonials can go here, and have it look fantastic to try to take that off your plate, to ease that burden.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great idea.
That's
It establishes authority right away. It's like, oh man, look at this. This guy knows what he's doing, right? This guy is the expert in my industry. So then we start stacking stuff on top of it, right? We stack in proof from different ways that are going to help us fill up our pipeline. So a lot of the training, as I mentioned at the event, a lot of the training, we're moving it towards how can we fill up that pipeline? We showed 13 methods at the event for filling up your pipeline. So we're going to go through and be building out each one of those. And my promise is that if you, like I said in my speech, if you stack 2 of those pipeline methods, you're not going to have to worry about customers anymore. And I think after you have enough customers, that's going to solve a lot of other issues. Like we can start solving who, not how problems. When we have the financial resources coming in, we can hire the best people we can recruit and fill some of those roles. So Mike, it's amazing to see you this way, to see you getting more comfortable, to see you growing, to see you stepping into this business, having an action plan that we can execute on. I can't wait for our next event. I'd love to give some more awards to some new faces, and with the momentum that I feel like you have, I think you could be. I think it would be great to have you up there with us, give you celebrating an award, passing another milestone. So, thank you for sharing, Mike. Always a pleasure, man, and thank you for getting out of your comfort zone, man. It's awesome to see you grow. Very cool. All right, Mr. Greg Adams from Houston, Texas.
Afternoon.
How
Well,
are
what
you?
I got out of the event, don't play rock, scissors, paper with Alex over there. No.
We all got hustled, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. No,
He goes from
I
event to event doing this.
come in on the radar. Yeah, it just
For
I
those
just
of you
wanna-
guys don't know, I'm just going to share real quick. Sorry, Greg.
go ahead.
Saturday morning, we started off with the first, I guess it's triannual LeadSnap Rochambeau rock, paper, scissors tournament. Look, and it was 1-on-1 until there were only 2 left. And when there were, and Alex Sherpanese took the title over to Canada. I would love to see it come back to America at our next event, but we got to give respect where respect's due. So
I'm in training with my daughter, so you guys better watch out.
I know we got a ringer. We got a ringer here, guys. So that's what we're referencing. Alex came away as the champion. But let's go back to Greg. Greg, talk to us, man. What did you feel from the event? What were your takeaways?
Well, I just think it's the authenticity of everybody in the room. I've just been really transparent here. I've been to other, events and things like that. There's always just sell from the platform, table rush. I was honestly really kind of intimidated showing up because I didn't know what to expect. But, everybody was so authentic. It just blew me away that everybody just wanted to reach out and help. And it just really uplifted my spirit. Sometimes we can do, like you said, we can do all this technical stuff, but if we don't have the emotional support, and like you said, we could talk on these Zoom calls a long time, but when you're in the room with all that energy, just so many people put out so much good vibes and good energy, that really helped me out. But there's so many takeaways. I could go on for like an hour on the takeaways, but one thing that I really learned that you guys really did good together is stacking. I knew doing other pieces of software that could get me somewhere, but the way you guys really stack things out, the systems that you put in place, you're very thoughtful on how you could stack your agency and make it sticky. And that was a key point, for me in this event. And then I was very, very blessed to, pick up get a mentor. Doug was graciously reached out and wanted to mentor me, and I'm just blown away with it. So I won't keep going to take up all the time, but again, it's people being so authentic, wanting to help, and then the way that you guys just put everything together, where everything just kind of flows and stacks together.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a big believer in, and I think it was maybe Spencer I was talking to this about, where It's kind of like the iceberg, right? Where we see the top and we think that's the whole thing. And below the water is where most of it is. And for me, like the tactics are that top piece that we see, and the mental game is what's below the water. And I've said this a bunch of times, and it was certainly true for me, is like tactically, most of you guys have everything you need to build a 7-figure agency. It's this like mentality that is holding you back a lot of times, where you don't think you know what to do, or you're not confident enough in yourself. So having an event like this, where you get this like horse size shot of like belief and confidence in yourself, this is why we want to do this every few months. We want to infuse you guys with that so that we can move the dial, right? It's great to have a reset. I know from a number of people that are like on the fence about coming. Hey, I've got to like pay for travel. I got to pay for the ticket. I don't know people. I don't know. I'm probably going to be pitched or sold something. And then at the end of the event, they're like, this was the best event I've ever been to. This was amazing, right? You guys are in a better mental spot now. And with that, like most of the iceberg being under the water, being in a better mental spot, you're 90% of the way there. Most of you guys have the tactics. I know there was a couple new people who are just getting started in the business. Maybe those people don't have the tactics. The rest of you guys, like, hey, we've just got to, we've got to have the belief and maybe a little bit of organization around an action plan. And now also, the foundation of a strong support system with relationships. Like, I think a lot of you guys are in a lot better position, and that's what we wanted. We wanted something actionable, not just something that, hey, there's a ton of cool strategies. We've spoke to successful people. What can we actually do with it? So that, from what I'm seeing, it feels like we were successful with it, but it's really going to come down to like, what happens at the next event? Who's able to surpass milestones? Who's going to be able to take this stuff, use this momentum, use this confidence you have, and take it to the next level. So Greg, I'm really excited to see what you do with it, man. I love seeing Doug help you out. Doug obviously has had a very successful agency, and great guy, right? Just like you can always tell his heart's in the right place. And it's fantastic that the two of you guys got connected at this event, and now you're going to go forward together to move the dial in your agency. Hey, maybe one day, Greg, you'll be on the other side of this and an opportunity to help up the next person and pay it forward, right? So fantastic, man. Let's go over to Miss Jannery Canary. What's going on?
Patric. Hey.
Look at the Rank Master shirt representing.
Oh yeah, gotta represent. I don't have much words and I talk a lot, but I was gonna say, this was like the first event that I've ever gone to that literally changed me. Like the actionable stuff that you put together. I love that takeaway where we was all doing the wisdom circles. Can you hear me fine, by the way?
I can hear you. You sound great.
Okay. The wisdom circles was so impactful. Like everybody wanted to help each other. Everybody wanted to give some great advice. That was really, really cool. And then the pipeline stacking that you mentioned was awesome. That's one of the biggest takeaways. I have so many takeaways. Chris Evans really hit home for me too, like Gary said. This was the best event. And I don't know how you're going to top this one off, because this was really, really, really good. You curated everything so nicely. Like, I feel like it wasn't, like you said, it's not even about the pitch. It wasn't fluff. It was like what we needed in every different kind of category. So congrats, like Spencer said, because this was amazing.
Yeah, there's this part of me that wants to just kind of like, we had this amazing event and then maybe we just go out on a high note and that was it. That's the last one, where we don't do it again. We don't have to worry about it. We don't have to solve for that. No, I'm kidding. But
don't do that to us.
I think a part of it is just like, hey, when the community gets stronger and the relationships are stronger, maybe that will make our job easier as we go forward. It's definitely going to be hard to top the speaker list that we had at this event for sure. Those guys, I mean, they were just, every one of them was fantastic.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Jerry, thank you.
Words.
What's that?
I don't have any words. I mean, it's just overwhelming. It was amazing. And everybody, the vibe there was so, like you said, it was a little vulnerable. And of course, when I started hearing, a few people like, I'm here trying to dry my eyes but it says a lot about the community that you built, right? This is like anybody that's listening to this or kind of had second thoughts and wanted to go to the event and did not go because they thought it was like another event that they've won before. This is like nothing. Like Patric has something special because Patric is really smart in what he does. He's very successful, but his heart is what really changes the game, like on how he does things. So he really wants to help you. And this is a requirement. I don't think anybody should miss this. This is like a must if you want to take it to the next level.
Thank you, Jannery. That's very kind. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right. A newcomer coming on here was our friend Fidan. How are you doing? Fidan is a part of Search Atlas and Link Graph. So Fidan is a part of the company with Monik, and Monik was one of our speakers. So Fidan, talk to us. How are you doing?
Hi guys, it's amazing to see you all here, especially familiar faces. It's my first call. I kind of like miss you guys, so I decided to join. And yeah.
Camera on, Fidan. What's up? No camera?
I can't do camera because I'm in the middle of moving process. So like myself and house is such a mess. Next time, camera on, promise.
Awesome.
So yeah, it was amazing to be part of this community and meeting you guys all in person. I'm so happy that like seeing the beautiful community that Patric built is amazing. All those speakers, all those attendees shared like amazing strategies and tactics. Everyone was so generous, transparent, and authentic. I'm very thankful for that. Also, I mean, there has been like so many takeaways, amazing strategies from everyone, but Chris Morrow's going pro speech was really stuck in my mind, especially when he mentioned that people buy the whole, not the drill, was a like whole different mindset switch. I really love that his opinion on becoming a student of a business model, really how learning on how the people operate the business, how they recruit the talents, all those problems that they are trying to solve. So you can be able to look at your client and have the conversation in their shoe. So it was a great takeaway for me. And yeah, thanks for the amazing opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Those were great takeaways for me too. That the whole, I've heard him say it before: buy the whole, not the people buy the whole, not the drill. But sometimes we hear it and it slips away. And like you said, being a student of the business model and kind of knowing the business model as well as the business owner just really positions you to provide more value. And it gets outside of this kind of like super fast path that we have to try to make money. And if you just kind of like invest in the long game a little bit more, put yourself in their shoes, you can have such a greater impact. So Fidan, I hadn't written those down, but I appreciate you reminding me of those takeaways, because those are huge. Those are big ones. It's like we can do that in every, I'm running multiple businesses, and that's going to be true for every business that I run, is people want to buy the whole, not the drill. Right. So fantastic. It was a pleasure. I think you were one of the people that bounced around and talked to almost everyone at the event. It's cool to see someone who doesn't know anyone in the community and then leave with like tons of friends. Right. That's awesome. This is where I feel like we have this thing where we have this like snowball that's rolling down a mountain, and it's just like keeps picking up more and more momentum. I think it was we went through, I think there was greater than a 90% return rate on the people that went to the first event that came to this event. So, I can't imagine what it's going to be like for this next one, which we're still going through the dates. I don't want to commit to anything on here yet, but there's just a lot of conflicts between our team and like the holidays and stuff like that. But we're hoping to release that here pretty soon. And I'm willing to bet a ton of the people that were at this last event are going to somehow find a way to come to this next one, just based on the feedback that we've received so far. But let's go over to Mr. Alec Newmeyer. Thank you, Fidan. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Hello.
Alec Newmeyer.
Yo.
What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm good. I've had a busy couple days. Johnny and I got just got wrecked in the Orlando airport and both missed our connecting flights and slept on the floor of different airports across the country. So, yeah, so it was an eventful end to the trip. But what I want to say in terms of what happened, like the first time that I went, when I went to the first event, my biggest concerns were all like technical best practices, and like that was really what I was going for. I wanted people to just open up about what they were doing, and I got a lot of that, and I was really excited after the first event. This event, I had built out all these SOPs and been getting organized, and so this event I wanted to like just, I don't know what exactly my intention was, but the speakers shared so much information that like we're ripping and replacing all the SOPs that I just spent like weeks creating, because we learned better ways to do it, like better ways to deliver more consistent results with way less effort. So I was like, you know, it's a great problem to have. I remember after the first event when I was at the airport, I like made friends with all these strangers in line because I was in such a good mood and I made all these friends. And then this time with my delayed flight, I'm not even joking, I made 14 friends from the first delay overnight. I made a friend, like he watched over me while I was sleeping in the Atlanta airport. So like it was crazy. So so the shift from W2 employee to entrepreneur can be a little bit bumpy, and this industry can be a little bit lonely. And now it's just like there's a lot of stability that comes from, you know, one, realizing that I don't have to do all the work and that there's a million ways to, you know, skin the apple or skin the cat, whatever the phrase is. And having like a stable group where I walked in this time and I knew most of the faces and everyone was just catching up, and I had ways to exchange, you know, with my peers, something valuable that I've been working on, and they had things to exchange with me and from all these workers. So I didn't sleep well in the airport, shocker. So I went through all my notes and tried to break them down into, you know, you create actionable steps, but then you need to prioritize them, and you need to align those with what your purpose and goal is and what you're trying to accomplish in the short term, medium term, and long term. And I had plenty of hours to start digesting that in the airport amidst meetings with new friends. So yeah, so going to these events is just like a mandatory part of this business model for me. I'll be going to every one you throw, especially if they happen to end up in exotic locations with surf. I wouldn't be upset. And so yeah, it was very exciting. It was a big deal, and I'm very happy and grateful that I got to go, and I'm grateful for the community. That's what I have to say.
Awesome, Alec. Appreciate that so much, man. Do you have like maybe one or two things, like what will you be putting into place in your business that you didn't know to put in place before, but now we're like, hey, this is really where I need to turn my attention?
There's a lot of things, but I'll choose one. I've had a mentality before, like one of my differentiators when I was applying for jobs is like, oh, you know, put me in, I'll get my head down and I'll grind and we'll make it happen. And I mean, we had a talk about all the different ways you can use the new AI companies to impact our business. We had talking about Link Graph and Search Atlas and Agency Assassin to help make things clear. And I realized like, yes, I need to work hard, but really I need to work hard from like a cerebral external executive level. And I need to leverage resources, and one of the easiest resources we have available might not even be the VAs. I think it's all the tools, and just being aware of those tools and what they can do and how they can do most of the work for you is going to really help us up level. So yeah, that's probably like the biggest takeaway, was just seeing that in action and connecting the dots on tracking capacity, production, and production of quality as well. So
right.
Yeah.
Right. Marcel's speech, right. And the AI stuff, it sounds like really hit for you. So more like, hey, how can we be a lot more efficient in our agency? How can we run things in a way where it's really buying back our time, right? Maybe the training of our VAs to leverage this technology and kind of like relying on them more.
That's all I'm doing this week.
Yeah.
Is that I'm rewriting the SOPs to include the new tools, and I'm raising all their quotas so that way they get more done each week. So I'm Excellent. Like, yeah, big week for me and Alex diving in the weeds.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like what a resource to have. You know, a guy who was, you know, one of the heads of marketing for advertising for Tony Robbins come here and just like blow us away with AI stuff. And that guy was sick. You know, he I mean,
He was-
obviously, really, really smart guy, but it always blows. It kind of reminds me of like, you know, somebody just walks out of the stands out of like a Major League Baseball stadium, walks up there and just like crushes it out of the stadium and like then just returns and sits down casually. That's what that reminded me of. I'm just like, holy cow, this guy, you know, I think 90 seconds into his speech, we're like, buckle up. This is gonna be great. Yeah, that's how I felt. I was like, here we go. It's like, it's coming at us fast and furious, you know, but, we'll have those resources for you guys. I know a lot of you guys are looking for that spreadsheet with the list of tools. So absolutely, we'll make that available for the people that were at the event as part of that resource pack that you guys got. So Alec, thank you so much, man. Really enjoyed hanging out with you and hearing your Australian accents and stuff too. That was a great time.
Awesome.
Very cool. All right, let's go over to Shannon Donovan. How you doing, Shannon?
Good. It was a long trip home, but I wasn't drunk in the airport, but I got all my flights delayed. So, but I made it. Was longer than getting there. But the big thing was, I mean, obviously, everybody said just being with everyone and making those connections, spending all those days together in a house. You really got to know everyone, and not just the group, but I mean, we're talking about the speakers, but the speakers didn't just speak and walk away. They stayed. I mean, Brian was sick, but most of them like stayed, and I, sat next to Monic for the whole day. And when he stayed, and got to talk to him, and so you're not only getting connections with all of the people in our group, but also like really tight connections with the people that owned these companies and were giving these services, which was to me really important. So yeah, it was just one of the best events that I've ever been to. And this morning, I already bought domains for my new niche down agency. So I've done that.
Fantastic.
I worked on Search Atlas all morning, trying to figure that out. I had a team meeting with my general manager and project manager, and was telling them about all this stuff. Oh, and I'm gonna have an email to Ian. I think I saw him on here, to increase my agency assassin. So I've done all those action steps, and yeah, I'm just ready to. And tomorrow I meet with the SEO people, and we're going to start talking, my SEO team, start talking about using Search Atlas and how we can, get that, stream down a lot of our SOPs, as Alec was saying, and kind of get those working in there. So I'm just really excited to move forward. It was really great.
Awesome. Yeah. It was super cool to have these people spend the weekend hanging out with us, and like, these people are people that they've got a lot of options on what they can be doing. They're incredibly successful people like Monic. He's had multiple exits, running multiple companies. One of them, I think, is doing north of $10 million a year, right? And he just spends the entire weekend hanging out with us. Yeah. And probably one of the top like 2 or 3 SEO minds that I've ever met in my life. And his really came out of need. I think a lot of the people that, the people that I've brought to the space have been focused on, or brought to the group, have had a lot of local SEO focus, and to have somebody like Monic who has crushed it on the national level, share the strategies, and to be able to take those, like I mentioned at the event, from kind of the shark infested deep into the pool over to the shallow end, which is like local, where nobody is as competitive. Somebody that is competing against Ticketmaster and StubHub, and doing so effectively, and then teaching us how we can outrank a concrete company with these strategies. It's just like, I feel like we're bringing a bazooka to like a plastic knife fight. So that was really cool to see his brain and how he works and how he considers things, and then combining that with Ian, right? Ian Evans, who is the founder of Agency Assassin, and his great SEO mind. And what was really cool is having Monic and Ian going back and forth, asking questions, and the rest of the group of like that. I thought that was a super cool couple minutes there, where like they're just this is what Monic and I have done a lot, is like, I'm asking him my best SEO questions, and we're going back and forth. He's asking me GMB questions, and we're like going back and forth on strategies and how we can fine tune those. So yeah, Shannon, that was something I hadn't really thought of, is like I think part of it is, when you host an event that has that type of energy, and it's at one of the coolest houses anyone will ever go to, the speakers don't want to leave, right? We've got great food, we've got a DJ, we've got music, we've got an awesome community. Like, where do they want to be? Like, so that was awesome to see that they wanted to hang around and stay. And I know, Brian Hansen, it kind of felt like even though he was sick, he was like, man, this looks awesome. I wish I wasn't sick. He reluctantly left and went back. So yeah,
Same
super cool.
Speakers, like Robert, he had a camping trip, family camping trip that was planned ahead of time, and actually carved into that trip to make time to come down and be with us. Otherwise, he would have stayed. And the people who did leave, they had really good excuses, so they would have stayed if they could.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, super cool, super cool. All right, let's go over to our rock paper scissors champion from Canada, Mr. Alex Sherpanese. Alex, how's it going, brother?
Hi, good, great, thanks. Yeah, where do I start? I keep remembering what you say. It's not what's taught, but what's caught, and I really took advantage of that. And the speakers were amazing and stuff, but those conversations that you had with people, like in between the sessions, were awesome. And some of these high level people were so friendly and so, willing to help. And I had specific questions for certain individuals, and they took the time to talk to me and coach me. Like I had a question about backlinks with Marcel, and he took the time to answer them and to offer, or not Marcel, Monic, to answer them, and he even offered to for me to jump on a call with him, take time out of his day so that we can go over some of my sites, and he could take a look at my backlink strategy and give me some advice and things like that, right? Because he was kind of explaining it to me, and he could tell maybe I was struggling with some of the concept. And he said, you know what, Alex, why don't you give me a call next week? Reach out, we'll book a time on my calendar, and I'll just look at your site and we'll kind of go through it. And, that kind of stuff is just, blows you away, right? Like, for a guy like that, and then I had a specific question for Chris Moore, I showed him like a landing page that I was working on, and wanted his advice, and he takes me over to the bowling alley of all places, takes out a whiteboard and spends like half an hour with me, just like all the strategy. And I actually recorded it so that I could remember it, and I shared it with the group, I think. But those kind of things, they just go out of your way, and you really feel that desire to help people, and that I really appreciated that. And then, I mentioned Marcel because I had a conversation with him too, and just talking about all the financial stuff, and which I got value from that. And hopefully I can get my agency to the point one day where, I could actually use the services. But it makes you think, like, these are things you should start thinking about early on in your agency as you're growing, right? And even I remember talking to Barry Nix, yeah. He wasn't a presenter there, but I had a long conversation with him about branding and the importance of branding, and he had a whole bunch of little nuggets of wisdom that I really appreciated. So it's all those conversations that can just take you to the next level. I just really appreciated these people.
Yeah, it's awesome to find the people that have reached this level of success, but still maintain the humility and the desire to try to help. I know when I was coming up and trying to find my way, it seemed like I couldn't find anyone like that. It seemed like I couldn't find anyone that was really willing to reach their neck out. And, things took a lot longer than they probably could have if I had somebody that says, hey, don't go down this pathway, instead, do this, right? Yeah. And to have, our entire speaker lineup dedicated to the success of the attendees was, it was really special for me to see that. And, it was awesome. And you kind of look now about other people in the industry. There's a lot of people that I've reached out to for help that are nowhere near as far as these people are. And, you know, just like the rest of you guys, I get blown off in situations, or people are tight-lipped, and I can tell they don't really want to share. I've always tried to be an open book and share stuff, and you know, I'll continue to be. But you know, it's great to see that you know, there's people out there that are just like living in abundance and kind of sharing in abundance, and not really trying to like hold everything as a secret. Right. There's plenty for us to all be successful, but everyone's got their own different mindset on things. But I was super grateful to have this kind of shared attitude at our event between all these speakers.
Mm-hmm. And you kind of start to learn things that you are really interested in, maybe things that you maybe want to specialize after talking to people at events like this. Like I realized, like, I really like the marketing side of the business and learning, you know, how to write effective copy, and, you know, CRO kind of techniques, and all these things that's sort of like can help you convert, you know, people from the top of your funnel into actual customers. That kind of stuff just fascinates me, and I really liked listening to Chris Moore speak, because that's kind of what he specializes in, and it makes me really want to be a student of like marketing and how to convert people from the top of your funnel into customers. That's kind of what I want to focus on.
Yeah, Alex, I would highly recommend that you check out the traffic, the Russell Brunson, the trilogy there with the .com secrets, the expert secrets, and traffic secrets. I think that is a fantastic base and foundation that anyone in marketing should read, especially someone that has an interest in what you just shared. Amazing books.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I definitely will. Yeah.
Very cool. Alex, thanks for sharing, man, and congrats on the championship there.
Thanks.
All right, let's go with Robert J. Strada III.
Hey, Patrick.
What's up, man?
Good. It was so amazing just being around people that were as educated, generous, and open as they were, just so kind, so generous, so honest. You know, I can never thank you enough for expanding my mind in this pivotal stage of my life. You know, for anyone that doesn't know, I mean, I'm 23 years old, transitioning out of the military, and I've spent over $30K on coaching and programs at this point, which is a year's salary for military, more than that. So with my rank, so it's very scary, and I'm, you know, comfortable with admitting that, you know, I was terrified, petrified to do all this. And that's why it's just so amazing to see that all these people came together to establish this thing that's not just an event. It's more than a tribe, but this is a movement. There's been a lot of nonsense and false idols and rip-offs and betrayals in this space that we won't talk about on this call, but nothing like this exists. It's so awesome to witness, to be a part of this as it snowballs. And I'm just so excited for the future, which is an amazing feeling that is new to me, to be so excited for just life. And so on that note, I mean, I would say to anybody that is wondering about the value of this event, you know, you think that you know what you need to do. You're thinking, I've been in this business model for 3 years, but now I got it. I know my bottleneck. It's this. It's the SOPs. Once I get the SOPs, I'm going to skyrocket. Sky's the limit. My question to that person would be, is it the SOPs? Is that your only roadblock? Because I don't think so, because, you know, it's like you have one client. You will know SOPs. You should have more clients. Maybe it's those SOPs, but I'll give it to you. Maybe it is. But let me ask you this, right? You're in a room with 10 mentors, coaches with 20 plus years each, and experience in acquisition, real estate, SEO, mentoring, sales, closing, confidence training, who specialize in fixing bottlenecks, diagnosing them, poking holes, asking calibrated questions, solving problems, because that's all we are as entrepreneurs, as problem solvers. Do you really think that when you're in a room with not just 5, but 10 of these people who are in the top of the industry, that you won't succeed? You want to succeed in this industry. You're talking 101, having a conversation with these people. and you're discussing your bottleneck that you have, do you think you won't solve it? That is if that's your bottleneck. Because here's the scariest thing in the world to me, discovering that my bottleneck in my business and my life is not actually my real bottleneck. You know, I'm in front of these amazing people, these like life-changing mentors, and I'm telling them about my issues that are holding me back. And they ask, you know, are you sure that's your bottleneck? Are you sure? Like, if that thing was solved, would you get to 100K a month? Could it be anything else? Let's walk through this together. And they stay with you. And then I have my moment where I go, oh my God, an epiphany. You know, the real bottleneck presents itself. I had it. I witnessed other people have it. It's magical. You know, it's like witnessing birth, which it is. It's the birth of a real serious entrepreneur. And that is the moment where the growth begins, because you cannot fix a problem which you do not know exists. So to finish this off, there's only 3 reasons why you wouldn't go to the next LeadSnap Mastermind. Okay. Me as the consumer did not do a good enough job convincing you how this event is different. And these people are not only the leaders in the space, as has already been discussed by multiple people, but they care about you. I fail in articulating this to you. Okay. Number 2, the only reason you wouldn't go is your ego. Your ego is too big. You think you could solve everything, which no one has ever done, ever. Find me one successful entrepreneur that has done this alone, and I'll find you either a liar or a person who I do not want to become. You're a lone wolf, and you're going to die with a nice job at 7-Eleven or a corporate job, which you will be forced to go back to just because your ego. Why? Number 3, and I want to say this very respectfully. I like how Spencer said it, very respectfully, because I made all these mistakes as well. You're thinking selfish. You're selfish. You're not thinking big enough, which means you're being selfish. If you were thinking about providing college for your kids, healthcare for your family, retiring your parents, helping out your church, your community, you would go to an event to level up. It wouldn't be a question of if, but when. I met amazing individuals that are just all wonderful. They're all going to get to the next level and be able to provide for their families. They're amazing down there people, you know, funny, loving, kind, generous. I'm a little bit extreme compared to other people, but that's because I'm ex-military. You know, there were just people being vulnerable and that were so open about their struggles. I'm just so happy to be around people that are so expressive, so non-judgmental. Like Patrick said, man, people were brought to tears, you know, and y'all almost brought me to tears a couple times. I mean, it'll be hard. It'll happen one of these events for sure. But
next time, man.
This business,
if I can make you cry, then I'll be happy.
Breaking Badass, man. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Robert, on top of all that, you know, you had been in the industry for a couple years, and up until a couple months ago, your return on investment was 0. So Robert actually, thank you, man. That was powerful. First, let him hear it. I see a lot of you guys in the chat. Let him hear it in the chat. But Robert, thank you. The transition and just kind of like feeling the confidence and passion that you have now versus like not too long ago, I felt moments of uncertainty, and you know, from being in, not being confident, never having landed a client after being in and spending tons of money, to going, and now I think you're at $22.50 a month. In the last couple months, you've hit that. I imagine that number is going to be a lot bigger at our next event. I imagine. I don't think it's out of your reach to be crossing that 10K line. Maybe I'll give you that as a goal, right? I don't know what you wrote down as your MRR goal at the end of the event when we had you guys record that, but I think that's within your grasp now. I think it's harder. Like there's these phases. It's harder to go from 0 to 10K than it is to go from 10 to like 40, right? It's harder to go from 0 to 2K than it is to go, I think, from 2 to 10. Right? Once you had to crack a lot of things to land that first client, and then you landed your second client, and I think maybe your third client. So now it's just a question of repeating that process. And I think with the pipeline stacking playbook that we gave you, like, hey, here's a way that people can raise their hand, man. So Robert, thank you so much, man. Like, I think a lot of people fell in love with you with this preaching right here over the last few minutes. Like it's fantastic to see this and what it must have meant to you to create that type of emotion from you, man. So we couldn't be more grateful, man. Appreciate you.
And let me I want to finish off by like kind of boasting you a little bit, dude. This business model and Patric is changing lives. And one thing that I definitely have to say that I noticed from the event is that he is motivated by his impact on others. It's not often I meet people that are truly motivated by seeing others win, that their motivation is to bring people from that 0 to 10K level, the best training. It's just insane. So, if you're on the fence, get off the fence. You're going to get left behind. So like, let's level up as a family, as a tribe together. That's all I have to say.
Awesome, Robert, man. Thank you. Yeah, that absolutely is my goal. Is impact. Let's move forward together. It's so cool. Our team was talking after everyone left. We got to spend some time together, and it was kind of surreal to feel. I mean, the impact was undeniable. There's just like, it's undeniable seeing the people move forward, just like you, just right now, this right here. It's undeniable. The cadence of how you're talking, the confidence that's behind your words versus a few months ago. And not only you, but like a third of the people that were at the event, right? That's just like, whoa, what was that? How did that happen? That's so cool. And it's just like, here's another sign of it. So Robert, thank you. Thank you for being vulnerable, man. Thank you for sharing this and like speaking from the heart. I love it, man. Thank you. Of
course.
Let's go over to Serena White. Our first time meeting, first event. I know she came in. Serena, you came in. I think you told me you came in terrified, right?
Yep. Totally terrified.
How was it for you?
I have a really hard time just like walking up to people and talking to them. So walking in that first night was, yeah, you got the word exactly. It was terrifying. And just started talking to people and realized very, very quickly what a welcoming group it was. And it was just, I feel like I've found my people. And my biggest takeaway on this is how I'm going to be able to improve my productivity. I don't have SOPs. I found that I'm really excited to leverage AI, and the talk about AI was really exciting to me. One of those tools, scribe.com, helps you create those SOPs. So that's a huge takeaway for me. I saw so many ways in Search Atlas that I can improve what I'm doing and do it better and do it faster. And talking right now is something that I would not have done before this event. And when I was at the airport, I sat down in a restaurant at a table, and then I got up and I moved over to the bar. And I sat down next to someone and I struck up a conversation.
Wow.
I've never done that before in my life.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm getting emotional again. This has changed me. It's really changed me. It's just really increased my confidence and really pushed me to get out of my comfort zone. That was one of the first things that Patric said when at the beginning of the conference was, we really want you guys to get out of your comfort zone, and everyone there made it easy to do that. So it's I'm excited to see where this is going to take me.
Yeah. So Serena, how does it feel? How does the future look different to you, knowing that you have the ability to get out of your comfort zone and it's safe? Like, hey, there's safe spots that we can do this, where we can build this confidence. So, you were one of the people I was thinking about where, hey, we came into this and you know, you weren't comfortable going into a room of strangers. And then, you know, whatever, 72, 96 hours later, you're talking to a stranger at the airport at the bar. Maybe at some point your husband's going to be mad at me for that, but it's cool to see that kind of like growth happen in real time and unfold right in front of us. And to be honest, you're not the only person that said that right at the beginning of this call. Mike Anderson, who's never spoken on a call, he's like the first one in line to get on the call and share his experience. And Khalil, Khalil told me the same thing at the beginning. He was terrified. It was hard for him to open the door and come in there. And then he's talking to other people. He's hanging out with everyone. It's kind of cool to see this personal growth in real time. I mean, I just think it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see it. And how does it feel? Does your future feel different where you now have this kind of like confidence to connect? I mean, I feel like it must.
Absolutely. Because of my like lack of confidence, prospecting terrified me. And now I've got that pipeline stacking, and so I have tools for that. And now I'm working on building the confidence, and it doesn't scare me quite as much. And that's going to make a huge difference for my business.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's great. It feels so impactful. There's a lot of people, everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses, right? There's things that we're going to be great at. Some of the people that share the most are the ones where their strength is, hey, I'm okay in front of people. They have their own weaknesses. Maybe it's operations, maybe it's the things that are your strength. And I think it's great to have people like you get outside of their bubble, because it speaks to the other people that are in that were in your shoes when you showed up on Thursday, and they feel stuck because they're petrified with fear on how to move forward. And, you know, as Chris Evans started us out, like there's this stuff that's happened for us when we were kids or somewhere along the way where we've been told we're not good enough. And I'm not saying that's your story at all, but we all have our own baggage, and we all have our own challenges to move past. And I think when the people that are that are where their struggle is getting in front of camera and getting in front of people, when those people speak up, they resonate with a completely different set that commonly doesn't get heard from. So I just want to commend Mike Anderson on like getting out of your comfort zone. You guys made a commitment at the beginning. I asked people for a commitment to play big and get outside their comfort zone. And you made that commitment. And when I looked across the crowd, I didn't know if the people that made that commitment were going to keep it, but I saw you guys keep it. And that was amazing. It was so cool. And it's like, it warms my heart to hear that you walked into an airport and you moved from the table. It would have been easy enough to just stay sitting at the table, but to consciously move with kind of the intention of striking up a conversation. And I've never, having done that, like when you arrived at the airport and your plane landed, it was probably the first thing from your mind that when you're back at that same airport, hey, I'm going to be a completely different person, and I'm going to be approaching strangers and just like talking to people. Like no one would have thought that. You probably couldn't have thought that was true. Am I correct in assuming that?
Never in a million years.
Yeah, that's so cool, Serena. Well, you have found your tribe. You have found your family. I want you to be at all these next events. I love having you on the camera and sharing this, especially, you know, one of the things I was talking about with Jannery is we need more female leaders in the group, because everyone is going to connect differently with different people. So thank you so much, Serena, for getting on here and being vulnerable and kind of telling us your story. And you know, I think it's really going to resonate with a lot of people. So I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome to hear. Awesome.
You're cutting out there, Jeff.
I said that's huge forward movement. That's awesome to hear. It's so awesome.
Absolutely. So I know Doug had his hand up. I don't know if Doug bounced down here and we lost him. I don't see any other hands up.
No, he ran out of time.
Oh, there he is. Oh, we passed the, yeah, we always got time for Doug, man. How you doing?
Hey guys, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
5 o'clock in
Haven't
Puerto Rico.
stopped celebrating the event. And I just want to say to Patrick that I truly believe that you didn't start LeadSnap to make money, but you started it to make a difference in as many people as you can. And it's obvious by this group that it is going that direction. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And you're welcome. You know, it's certainly shifted to that. I can't remember thinking back to why I started it, but it you know, after bouncing around, a lot of you guys know that I played poker for a living. What a lot of you guys don't know is why I stopped. It didn't stop because it wasn't working. I stopped because I felt like I wasn't having an impact. I felt like I was having a negative impact. I thought that there had to be something better for me. Like there had to be something that was like, I felt like I was a net negative on the world. And like a lot of you guys feeling like you found your tribe, I feel like I found a purpose for my life, right? And, you know, we've got money coming in from multiple businesses and real estate. And this just really seems to move the dial for me. This, like what you guys said here, you know, I track my recovery every day for my sleep. And they have this little survey that I can fill out where it's like, did you use the hot tub? Did you use the sauna? All this different stuff. What they don't have on there is, did you hear like how you changed someone's life? Because I know it's correlated with a worse recovery. I'm going to have a hard time sleeping tonight after hearing this stuff. It keeps me up. It's like, can you believe this? I say this to Jeff. Can you believe what these people are saying about what we have built in our whole team? And honestly, guys, we get a lot of the credit, but it's the community. It's you guys that are making people like Serena and Mike and Khalil feel so welcomed, right? We may have started the community, but like was mentioned in here a few times, it's a movement now. Everybody knows, everybody kind of knows the code of conduct, of what it means. How do we welcome somebody? How do we lift them up, right? You guys took it and you guys have run with it. And you guys are the ones, in my opinion, that have made this what it is. You guys deserve just as much credit as anyone, especially you, Doug. Your generous act has potentially changed. I mean, Greg Adams, right? Like I feel like his life is changing because of your donation to sponsor him and give him to make him eligible to come to this event with your donation to pay for his ticket price was, I mean, what a gesture. And I'd love to see this as you guys level up, find a way to pay it forward. That's what I ask, right? Like find a way to pay it forward, make a difference. Let's keep this momentum going. So you guys, I think this was an amazing event. It's an awesome call. I'd love for you guys to take this and then inside the LeadSnap group, like this was a great, it was kind of like this little love fest we just had here was awesome. But take a moment and let's give people some actionable steps that came away from the event. Maybe make a post in the group if it's calling you. Like, hey, this is what I'm going to do because of this. And this is the result that I think I'm going to get from this. Something like this, where we wanted to have people didn't not, you know, there's a lot of people out there who it didn't work out with their schedule or financially it didn't work. Maybe they didn't know us well enough. They didn't trust us. They didn't believe in what this was. Maybe this looked like an opportunity for the people running LeadSnap to have another revenue line. And maybe that's what they thought it was about. Or maybe they said, hey, I'm not using LeadSnap, so why would I come to this event? Or maybe like, I'm not really in the rank and rinse, so why would this be necessary? Well, guys, I'll tell you, we're moving to more of an agency model. And this to me felt like a personal development, entrepreneurial meetup with a lot of focus that included SEO and marketing and, you know, but all types of running a business. So if any of that applies to you, if you resonate with the feel, like look at the raw emotion that comes through this. The way I judge feedback is like this. When someone says, hey, thanks for the event, I had a great time. That's like level 1 feedback that like this is what people say when they want to be nice. But when there's like a 2 to 3 second pause before someone can get out their words, it's because they've been touched. And if you kind of look across the people that shared on this call today, you can feel it. You can feel what it meant to them. And I encourage you, like, we want to grow this. We want this to be a bigger movement. I want to have an impact. I want our circle to grow. There's amazing people out there who would be fantastic in our community. If you guys want to be a part of something bigger than yourself, I think that's where this is going. I think this is going to grow like wildfire. You know, I've heard from people that weren't at the event that have reached out to me and said, hey, so-and-so was at the event and they said this, and that just sounds fantastic, man. I just want to say thank you for helping people this way. And these were people that I didn't even like. These are just random third-party people that weren't at the event that were contacted by somebody else who was, that have reached out to me. And that's, I'm sure that's a small subsection of the people. So when you have that kind of like, when you have that experience, you want to tell people, you want to scream from the mountaintop. So guys, if you know, our next event, we're going to announce it soon, and we're going to try to really get our speakers set up and the agenda set up, the location, so that you guys have tons of time to plan this out. We've learned from our past mistakes. My goal is to keep leveling this up. You know, I spent a lot of time with Marcel over this weekend. So Marcel is the head strategic coach for Dan Martell for the last like 6 or 7 years. If you guys don't know who Dan Martell is, I encourage you to follow this person, read his book. He's been a mentor for me for a couple years. One of the, you know, most successful people I've ever met in my life. So Marcel said, you know, I've been to a lot of events, and like SaaS Academy's events are world class. And he said, you guys are 90 to 95% of the way there. And this is, if this is your second event, like you guys are killing it. So that was awesome feedback for me. He gave me some ideas, some strategies on how we can make the next event better. We're taking those, we're putting those into place. If you guys did not fill out the feedback, the QR code for feedback, I know that there's questions on there. It's going to take you a little bit of time. We would love to hear your feedback. The reason this event was so much better than our last event in Miami is in part due to the feedback that you guys provided us. So we would love to hear how we can make this better and keep like raising the bar, right? It's going to be hard, I think, to have, like Spencer said, the next Christmas be better. But you know what? I have a little competition with myself, with my team. Let's do that. How can we make the next event be better? That's our goal. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for sharing. You got one more thing, Doug? What you got?
Yeah, I just wanted to leave you guys with this. The value ladder that Patrick put up on the screen is gold, guys. Learning how to upsell, downsell, cross-sell is going to make your business so much better going forward. So just keep that in mind and take another look at that, because there's gold in that thing.
Absolutely. Doug, and you're looking at this, I think, from a different angle than a lot of people. And just to give people a frame of reference for who Doug is, because Doug is not somebody that necessarily likes to be in the spotlight. Sometimes you got kind of like a ringer standing in the corner and nobody knows. That's Doug. Doug, are you willing to share like what in 2022 look like for we're still midway through 2023. So are you, and hey, no pressure, because maybe the IRS is watching, but you're also
no worries.
Are you willing to share anything
I pay
about
only 4% tax, Patrick? Keep that in mind. I don't mind telling you how much.
Awesome. Okay. Share with us, what did your business do last year? And you, with that being said, you were still able to have, like, this was a big event for you, right?
It was a tremendous event. Legal last year did 1.6 million in sales and roughly 30% bottom line. And my same day pros did just under $1 million with about 25% margin. And this year I acquired another company that will do over $1 million. So I'll have 2 7-figure businesses, and the third one will hit 7 figures this year because of what I took away from and what I put my neck on the line for in a goal for before the next event.
Yeah, awesome. So Doug acquired a business, acquired a list, but has also start using that to kind of like start a new agency. His goal, he's at $0 a month right now in that new agency, given that he has kind of like 3 7 2 or 3 7-figure businesses going on. Last year, it sounds like 2.6 million. But now we've got another $1 million business. So we're, hey, at 3.6. But he's given himself the goal for the new agency to go from 0 to 84K before our next event. So like, this is who is saying like, hey, I got a ton from this. And some of these strategies I'm going to put in play, he can see it. So I want you guys to know, regardless of where we got people that are saying this that are at $0 a month, and we have people saying this that are, you know, at a few $100,000 per month, right? It's the same message, guys. We put you in front of amazing people. We have a lot of successful businesses in the room. We have an atmosphere where people are willing to share. We have a venue that is, it's tough to beat when you're in a 20-bedroom mansion with a bowling alley, multiple game rooms, laser tag, a lazy river. We have amazing food, music. Like, it's hard to beat when you kind of stack all these things together and feel the vibe of the people and the energy and what they felt, the welcome nature. So I feel so grateful to be a part of this too. You know, I know that a lot of you guys look at me and say, hey, you're the one that created this, but I honestly, I feel grateful to just be a part of this. Like, if I hadn't built this and I stumbled into this, I would be like, I never want to miss this. This is amazing. So you guys, I'm so thankful for you guys sharing, trying to spread the word and coming on here and being vulnerable and being so authentic. So you guys, let's do this. We got a week. A lot of you guys, the guys that were at the event, we got a week before the next call. What are you going to do? Because let's pretend that the next week or the next event is 12 to 14 weeks away. That's all you got before the next event. What are you going to do between now and next week to be closer to those goals that we set for those next event? So Doug, for you, right? You're trying to hit 84K. What are we going to do in the next 7 days that we're going to move things down? I challenge you guys to find out whatever that is for your business and move it forward. I had the idea for me, I haven't got an agreement yet. I know Monica he's traveling right now, but I'm going to reach out to Monica and say, hey, Monica, let's be accountability buddies over the next 90 days before our event. Let's set some goals. Let's set some aggressive goals for our businesses and our personal life, maybe for our relationships that we can work towards over the next 90 days. I encourage you guys to do the same. Find somebody. I know that Doug and Greg are going to be accountability buddies, which is like, that's amazing. Come up with your goals if you don't have them. Get really clear on what they are. How are you going to get there? Start filling in those blanks and take a step. Don't lose this week. Don't sit on it. Don't think that you've got a ton of time before the next event. It starts today, right? You're going to want this time back when you see other people up on stage winning awards like Robert did and so many others. You're going to want this time back, but now you have the opportunity to not miss out on it. So go after it now. All right, guys, have an amazing week. I appreciate you guys coming on here and sharing. And yeah, let's crush it. I'll talk to you guys soon. Awesome.